You're listening to the Underground Voices Network. You will be hearing unfiltered truth from voices living the news.
You know, it's unbelievable, and it's very sad too at the same time because, you know, here in the U.S., at least from my perspective and from what I see on the, you know, the news, international news, you know, it's there hasn't been much on Venezuela, to be quite honest, like in the, you know, CNN, Fox News, BBC, or anything. You'll see little clippets, you know, if you go online, and you'll see like an article that was written about, you know, what happened this past week or last week or what started this whole movement. But they're, you know, they're very old articles, and they're, you know, they're not really up to date with what's really going on. And so it's kind of sad and also very frustrating at the same time because we're not really getting the information. And right now, with a lot of things going on in the world, you know, with, you know, political stuff here in the U.S., of course, and then what happened just last week on Friday in New Zealand, you know, a lot of things just take up, you know, our news feed, and of course they're all over the place, and they don't really focus on one issue. You know, it's whatever is breaking news,
whatever's relevant at the moment.
Exactly.
is really what takes the first place. And that out of sight, out of mind thing is so huge because literally whatever blows up in front of your face is where every camera focuses on, or every commentator or every news channel wants to flip on and show that. Well, and I understand they've got to be relevant. They've got to keep up to the news. But it's kind of sad because sometimes some serious things are left kind of behind the curtains. And there's an organization that helps us, or just started helping us, and we've not received but maybe 2 small boxes, but they're about to send us a lot of food, like stuff they send to Haiti and stuff like that. This is to really help. They're sending food that's really going to fill people. You know, it's not going to look pretty. It's not a filet mignon or something like that, but it's rice with soy protein and dehydrated vegetables and stuff already in the package. And it's going to help people be fed a lot. But it was funny because for about a week there, Venezuela was on their top list. The other day I went in looking for the link because somebody asked, said, how can we help through World Help? They can help through our mission organization, but this was a secular organization, so I sent them through World Help. And it took me about 30 minutes just to find. I was like, finally called my friend. I was like, Michael, where's the link? Because he works for World Help. He said, I'm going to have to send it to you. He says, I don't think it's even on the website. It's on there. You just got to click. And finally, under one of the alpha, beta, C, D, E, F, you'll find it somewhere around there. And yeah, it was. 3 other countries, and, you know, a quick earthquake here, a small flood in a town, whoop, took first place. And I'm saying more power to the people. Let's get help there and do that, without necessarily forgetting about what's really going on. They've called what's happening in Venezuela one of the biggest unsung crises in the world, because very few people actually know what's going on. Mr. Arriaza, who is the spokesman for the UN on behalf of Venezuela, has done a very good job of painting a perfect picture of, actually Venezuela is exporting food and they're giving this, and I'm watching that. They do show that on the news, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And it just hurts. Sunday, we had people die at the hospital on Sunday while we were there holding up signs saying, please, UN, do not believe what's being said. And I was there taking pictures and looking, talking to people. And there were some National Guards there, and I walked up to them and I introduced myself as a missionary and a pastor. And he's like, why aren't you back in your country? I said, because I love your country and God's called me here, and I want to do a lot of things here. And he says, we don't need you. We need peace. He says, your people are not bringing peace. And I said, no, I think you got that mistaken. After about 30 minutes talking to him, I shook his hand and walked away. I said, can I pray for you? And he says, no, I don't need your God's prayer. And so I walked away, and he's got a speech that's been memorized. I mean, he never spoke unscripted. It was right on that script. And every time I tried to move him off of it, he'd pause, he'd look back up in his memory bank, and then throw back right back where he left off. And
Yeah.
it's they got it memorized. They're threatened. They're threatened to hurt their families in death. So they got to stick to their game all the way to the end. We got a guy that came to church, and his family is actually distantly working for the government. And he said, Pastor, can you pray for my brother? I said, absolutely. I said, would you mind inviting your brother out for lunch one day and go with me? Well, he lives in Caracas, but when he comes visit, I'll call you and we'll go out for lunch. So I may be able to go with an official from the government, go have lunch with him in a couple of weeks. And he said, Pastor, my brother told me, he says, bro, I want to hug you. I want to say I love you. And he says, why does it sound like you're saying goodbye? He goes, well, he says, once I go back to Caracas and things start happening, he says, I probably won't see you again. He goes, yeah, but I'll see you after it's all gone. He says, no, I'm going to have to die with my boots on. He says, what do you mean? He goes, dude, I work for the head of the personnel of security for the president. And he says, I can't back out. He says, I may disagree with him a lot, but I can't back out. He says, for my safety, I'd rather die than my wife and kids die. And this is a guy going to our church. And so, I mean, the threat is real. People are scared to speak the truth and speak out. The doctor that was talking on live on Sunday, he's already been arrested. The guy that was on live interview, he's already been arrested. So nobody wants to speak. Nobody wants to say anything. And so it's rough, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's about to end. It's about to end. You know that feeling inside of you, it's like, yeah, it's about to happen.